our topic for today is all about planning data collection procedure, no? So alam natin by this time we're already done with the instruments that we will use in our research. So we will now proceed to the application. Okay? We will now apply our instruments so that we could gather data. Okay? So hindi naman agad-agad mag-apply tayo ng, ay tara, pa-survey tayo. Di ba hindi ganun? So pinagpaplanuhan yon. Okay? So ano-ano nga ba yung mga dapat nating gawin? Okay, so of course there are techniques in collecting quantitative data. Okay, so ito yung mga techniques para makakuha ng quantitative data. Pag sinabi nating quantitative, ano siya, no? Yung measurable siya, no? Ang kabaliktaran naman niya is yung qualitative, no? Kung saan usually ang ginagamit doon is interview, and then more on coding kasi yung yung qualitative research. So para sa mga students, mas madali yung quantitative research kasi measurable siya. Another one is observation. This is a technique in quantitative research. So this is gathering information about a certain condition by using our senses. Specifically, we're using our sense of sight and sense of hearing. So we use that to record our observations. And it is done by direct observation or by the use of gadgets or apparatus, just like our cell phones or any other devices. Okay, so in observation, it is important that you have a checklist. Okay, so it is an important tool in gathering data. Or probably you could use a journal, something like that, to record your observations. Okay, so another technique is survey. Okay, so I think ito yung pinaka-common, no? Madalas nagpapa-survey yung mga students kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, umuupo ako during defense ng senior high school. So madalas survey yung ginagamit nila. So it is done through interview or questionnaire. Most commonly sa questionnaire yung ginagamit nila, no? Kasi yung interview pwede rin yan sa qualitative research. Okay, actually mas common siya sa qualitative kaysa sa quantitative. Kasi yung usually mga questionnaire, pwede rin namang interview. Let's say close ended questions, no? Kumbaga pag tinanong mo siya, meron siyang option and mamimili siya dun sa option mo. Pero kung open-ended siya, malaya siyang sabihin kung ano yung mga gusto niya sabihin, probably or most likely that will fall under qualitative research kasi may mga coding ka nang gagawin doon. Okay? Next is a series of questions or statements are listed to be answered by the respondents. Okay? So yun nga yung survey. Or respondents choose their answer from the given choices, whether numerical or ordinal. Pwede ring i-rank nila, no? Tanungin mo sila, alin ba yung pinakamaganda dito? So rank mo siya 1 to 5 or saan ka mas nakaka-relate? Yun yung gawin mong number 1 and then least naman is number 5. Something like that. So ang tawag doon is mga Likert scale, no? In interview, they give their answer orally, of course, in order for us to determine their idea on what we are researching. Okay, another technique is experiment. Experiment is done when it is an experimental design. Okay, so yun yung research design nyo, experimental. Another one is it uses a treatment or intervention issues. So meron ka ditong control, no? Control group, tapos meron kang for comparison group, something like that, na later on pagbabanggain mo yung mga data nila, no? Another one is after the intervention, the effect of it on participants is measured. Okay, so comparison kasi yan, no? So titingnan mo alin ba saan ba mas effective yung isang treatment, dun ba sa control or dun sa experimental group, no? Let's say ang sample mo is so malaman alin yung mas effective na anti-COVID drug or yung bakuna laban sa COVID, no? So gagamit ka ng iba't ibang grupo doon, no? And then yung isa probably siguro yun yung walang bakuna, no? Something like that. Okay, so when is a questionnaire appropriate? So hindi naman laging questionnaire ay hindi mo siya laging gagamitin. So, kailan ba siya gagamitin? So, if you have a good idea of what to expect. So, parang no? May na-expect ka na mangyayari doon sa mo. Also, dito na rin lalabas yung parang hypothesis mo. Okay? Pero syempre, your question, may rules naman yan. Alam ko, pinag-aralan nyo na yan sa instruments, no? May mga limits kasi yan. So, know what things to ask and how to ask these questions. Yan. The art of questioning, papasok dyan. Okay? So, your respondent should be literate. Okay, so dapat na marunong silang sumulat, marunong silang bumasa. Okay, so if you are interested in counts or frequencies, no, magbibilang kayo ng mga data, so you use questionnaire. When you want to make generalizations to larger population, so yan, gagamit din kayo ng questionnaire pagka ganyan yung mangyari. Okay, so work out the aims of your questionnaire, think what you need to find out first, and select the question style. Paano ka ba magtatanong? Iwasan mo yung mga double negative, di ba? Yung mga ambiguous questions, yung mga rules dyan, no? Yung mga misleading questions, something like that. Alam ko, probably na-discuss nyo yan. So, open or close questions, yun. Ngayon, yung open questions, siya, mas napagbigay na idea doon yung tinatanong mo or yung respondent. Wherein yung sa close questions, predictable yung outcome niya. So, kung baga meron siyang option, ito yung sasagot niya. Dito siya mamimili. No? So, yun yung pagkaiba nila. So, information that can you obtain from the questionnaire, of course, your facts and other knowledge. So, ang tawag natin dyan is yung mga descriptive data or sometimes they call that as demographic data. Yung mga age, gender, nutritional status or financial status, something like that. Okay, another one is actions, what they have done, activities, work, hobbies, opinions, views, and beliefs. Okay, attitudes, of course, you can also obtain that. Motives, depende kasi yan sa question, no? Depende sa question. And past behavior, likely future activities. So, it all depends on the content of your questionnaire. Okay, so lang natin kasi yung pinaka-common instrument kasi sa research talaga is the questionnaire. So, diniscuss ko lang konti yan. So, steps to do before the actual gathering of data. So, ano ba yung mga dapat nating gawin bago tayo mag-apply nung instrument natin kung saan mag-gather na tayo ng data? Okay, so here are the preparations. Number one is you need to identify the authorities that will be involved and need to ask permission. As I've said, okay, hindi tayo conduct ng research because research has you should comply with the ethical part of the research, no? So, may ethics kasi yung research. Kasama na doon is yung magpapaalam tayo, ay, magkakandak po kami ng ganito. And it should be in black and white. Kailangan may letter kayo niyan. Hindi pwedeng oral lang yun, no? Hindi pwede. Kailangan lagi kayong may evidence when it comes to research. And then, papareceive nyo yun. And then, syempre, may kopya kayo nun, no? Para i-attach nyo rin yun as what you call sa appendix. Kasama yun. Another one is you need to determine the sample size and the corresponding respondents per group if applicable. So, syempre, di ba? Dapat alam mo na, out of this population, ilan ba yung gagamitin kong mga respondents? Let's say, in a school, you want to study the students there. Let's say, 5,000 lahat yung students doon. Ilan doon? Out of 5,000, ilan yung gagamitin mong mga respondents, no? So, mahalaga yon na dapat alam mo yon. Okay? So, may mga formula naman yan. There's what we call as the Sloven's formula. And yung common na ginagamit ko is the Craigie and Morgan table. So, alas pares lang din siya dun sa Sloven's formula. Kaya lang mas madali siya. Nakabatay naman sa research yun. Okay, so another one, ask consent form, no? If the respondents are 18 and above or parents consent if minor. So yan, napakahalaga yan, no? Hindi pwedeng, ay, porket student lang to, bigyan niyo lang siya ng instrument, pasagutin niyo, no. Ang una ibibigay is, lalo na kung minor yan, no? Parents consent. Paalam niyo muna, we'll be conducting this research. Ito po yung mga objectives nakalagay doon, no? Tapos, kung adult naman yan, syempre may consent form yan. Another one is you need to prepare the instrument. Of course, di ba? Naka-prepared na yan. Before pa lang kayo magbigay ng consent form, dapat meron na yan. Okay? Because that is your main way of gathering data kasi, no? Another one is you need to pilot test the research instrument if needed. Kung kinakailangan, actually, most of the time, kailangan i-pilot test natin yung instrument natin, no? Kahit na probably in-adapt lang natin yan, nagamit na yan sa previous researches and mataas yung reliability niyan, still, we need to pilot test the instrument. Okay? So, ano ba yung purpose ng pagpapilot test? Bakit ba natin ginagawa yan? Ay, by the way, ano pala yung pagpapilot test? Okay, so ganito yung pagpapilot test. Let's say, dalawa yung, i-apply mo yung research mo sa UMS, no? Sa UMS UMS students, yun yung respondents mo. Okay, ngayon yung hindi mo respondent, let's say yung STEM, doon mo muna gagamitin sa STEM. Doon mo muna i-apply sa STEM. Okay? Kasi bakit ganoon? Kasi gusto mong matest yung instrument mo. Okay? Bakit? Kasi there could be different kinds of answers na pwedeng lumabas doon. No? Kahit minsan quantitative na siya. I mean, Likert scale na siya, may pagpipilian. No? Minsan nagkakaano pa rin nagkakaroon ng misinterpretation. Okay? Lalo na kung open-ended, iba't ibang answers yung mailalagay ng mga students diyan or ng respondents diyan. Okay? So kinakailangan mo ring i-pilot test kasi baka iba yung pagkakaintindi nila doon sa tinatanong mo, no? Pag may mga words na hindi pala nila naintindihan, sagot lang sila ng sagot. So, yun, kailangan matest yun doon. Another one is redundancy. Baka may paulit-ulit ng question, no? May mga double negative. So, para maatanggal yung mga yon, so, papilot. Yun yung, ipapilot test muna. Another one is scalability. Yung range ba nito? Okay lang ba? Let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or dapat ko bang gawing 1, 3, 5, 7? Something like that. So, yung scalability. Tapos yung range nung mga options, no? Pag nagko-compute ka na ng yung scoring, kumbaga. Kasi mahalaga yun sa coding Another one is non-response. May mga hindi pala sumagot, no? May pagpipilian na pero mayroong hindi pa rin sumagot. So, yun. Another one is you need to filter the question. Okay? So, dapat ko bang baguhin tong question na to, no? Actually, may rin yan. Tinetest din yan. Yung bawat item sa questionnaire. So, hindi tayo basta-basta nag-a-apply niyan. Okay, so yun. Another one is timing. Alamin mo gaano ba katagal niya sasagutan yung instrument na to na i-apply ko sa kanila. Okay, so that is also part of the pilot testing. Okay, so ano ba yung gagawin natin during the actual gathering of data? Okay, so ito naman, ina-apply mo na. Ano naman yung gagawin mo? So, number one is you need to clear the instructions provided to the respondents. Explain mo sa respondents mo. Okay? Ano ba yan? Bibilugan ba yan? Chechekan ba yan? O isusulat ko yung sagot ko dito? Okay? So, yun. Dapat klaro yun sa kanya. Paano nila sasagutan. Another thing is that pag quantitative, dapat hindi nahihirapan sa pagsagot yung mga respondents mo. Okay? Okay na yung nagbibilog-bilog lang sila, nag-check lang sila. Kasi kung papasulit mo sa kanila yung sagot nila, yung iba dyan tatama rin. No? Hindi mo makukuha tuloy yung actual na data na gusto mong makuha. No? Kaya mas maganda yung madaling paraan lang yung pagsasagot nila. Kasi kung magsusulat sila, lalo na kung mga essay yan, tatama rin yan. No? So, ang resulta nun, maapektuhan yung gusto mong ma-obtain na data. Another one is administer the research instrument or implement the research intervention if applicable, no? Okay, syempre, administer mo na yung research instrument mo and then kung may intervention ka, dun mo na rin i-apply yun. Let's say, you are testing a puzzle. Okay? Yung puzzle na yun, i-apply mo sa isang section, sa isa hindi. So, the intervention would be the puzzle. Titingnan mo kung may effect ba yung puzzle na yon sa learning ng mga students o wala, no? So, yun. Doon may apply yun. Another one is collect or gather or take note of the responses. Siyempre, gagawin mo yun during the actual data gathering, di ba? Pagkuha, yung take note ka rin. Siyempre, documentation, mahalaga yun, no? Pipicturean mo rin sila. Pero pagdating sa pag-report nun, dapat blurred or natatakpan yung mukha nila for confidentiality issues kasi for confidentiality ng mga respondents mo. And kung yan naman ang pinicture naman ay yung instrument, let's say yung survey questionnaire, takpan mo yung kanilang pangalan doon. Okay? Or probably wag mo nilang ipalagay yung pangalan. Pero ako kasi pinapalagay ko pa rin yung pangalan. Kasi halimbawa may nakalimutan na akong kunin na data o kaya meron hindi sila nasagutan, babalikan ko sila. So ma-identify ko naman sila. Okay? Kasi nga may pangalan sila doon sa instrument. Another one is steps to do after the actual gathering of data. Ano ba yung gagawin mo na after mo na apply mo na yung instrument mo, no? Okay, so you need to summarize the data gathered in tabular form. Okay, so dahil yan ay quantitative, measurable yan. Sabi ko nga, no? Nandun na yung nagbibilang-bilang na kayo, no? Bibilang na kayo, nagtatali na kayo, nagbabakod-bakod na kayo ng mga ng mga data nila, no? Na sinagot. Okay, bilangan mo na ilan ba yung babae, ilan ba yung lalaki dito, ano yung age group nila, no? So yun, doon na kayo kukuha na ng data mula doon sa data collection process nyo. Another one is you need to analyze the data. Okay? Corresponding to the research question. Ito yung mahalaga, no? Walang kwenta yung data mo kung hindi nito sinasagot yung research question mo. Okay? Kaya ako very specific ako eh. Kung ano lang yun nandun sa research question ko, yun lang yung i-gather ko na data. Okay? Kasi it's just a waste of time kung gather ng data, wala naman pala siya dun sa research question mo. Okay? Napakahirap nun, nagpagod ka lang sa wala. Kumbaga. Okay? Kung ano ito pa pala, sa descriptive data or demographic data, alam ba, yung mga age, no? Yung mga, ano pa bang kinukuha dyan? Section, kung student yan, tapos financial status, minsan nutritional status, sinasama. Huwag nyo nang kunin lahat yan, no? Kung di nyo naman kailangan doon sa research nyo. Okay? Siguro, mahalaga lang dyan. Kung gusto nyo tingnan later on yung sa section, hindi kunin nyo yung section. No? Ikumpara nyo yung mga section. Kung mahalaga siya sa research nyo. Another one is age. Kung same level naman, grade level, let's say grade 12, or grade 11, minsan magkakadikit lang yung age ng mga yan, di ba? So, bihira naman siguro yung yung malaki yung agwat ng edad, no? Especially sa junior high school, no? Mga grade 7 to 10, halos magkakadikit yung edad ng mga yan. So, hindi ko na ginagamit yung age kung same level din naman yung mga respondents ko. Okay? Yung financial status, lahat naman nasa public school. So, probably, kung meron mga rich kid naman dyan, so hindi naman siguro ganun karami and it will not affect the data. So, hindi ko na siya kinukuha. No? So, depende talaga sa inyo. Kung ano lang yung mahalaga, yun lang yung kunin yung data. Huwag kayo magtambak ng actually, papahirapan nyo lang yung respondent nyo pag kung ano-anong data hiningi nyo sa kanila. Okay? You need to analyze the summarized data, of course, corresponding to your research question. Kung ano lang yung research question, yun lang yung kukunin nyo na data. Okay, next, data interpretation. You need to interpret the data. How are you going to interpret your data? Okay, for data that, for descriptive data, yung binabanggit ko yung gender, yung age, section, financial status, use descriptive analysis. Just count them and get the average. Kung kailangan nyo tingnan yung, yung pinakamarami, yung mode, kumbaga, pwede rin yun. Pwede rin tingnan yung ano yung highest or ano yung lowest, no? Pwede yun. Another one is for data that require comparison, you need to use inferential statistics. Nandiyan yung t-test and ANOVA. Let's say, kinukumpara nyo dalawang grupo, no? Yung isa, section 1, yung isa, heterogeneous section or let's say, halo-halo na doon, no? Yung isa talaga, pilot section. And then, nag-apply kayo doon ng test, let's say, ng ng summative test, no? So, kukumpara mo yung performance nila, pwede kang gumamit din ng t-test, no? Halimbawa, ganun. Kung marami naman na section, pwede kang ANOVA. So, depende talaga, no? So, for comparison, you use inferential stat. For establishing a relationship, you use person or other stat. No, halimbawa, may epekto ba tong instrument na to doon sa pagkatuto ng mga students? So, yun. Or may relationship ba yung paglalaro nila ng mobile game doon sa academic performance nila? Something like that. No, I will not go into details because we will have separate discussion of the statistics